Hey everyone, thanks for having me back. It's nice to be here again. We're going to be learning a little bit about Lightroom today. And unfortunately, we are going to start with a few definitions. So I've asked Mr. Harris to put these on the final for you. So here you have it. So the first one is histogram. Basically, the histogram is the information that appears from left to right. And on the left-hand side is the dark part of the image. So we call that the dark side. A little Star Wars reference. And then on the right-hand side is the lights. So what's important to remember with this is if the information is clipped either on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, the information is lost. So you need to make sure that you're keeping the information within that frame. For example, this histogram you see on the screen is from this photograph. And it being a color histogram, you can actually see there's a lot of blues in the photo. And basically it's a bar chart graph that shows all the tones in a digital image. If you could come up with that on the final for the answer, you'd be good. The second definition is color temperature. Basically, to keep this in perspective, 5,500 degrees Kelvin, which is how it's measured, is daylight. So if you were outside in daylight, 5,500 is a good starting point to be. For example, also too, if you were inside photographing maybe a band or stage or theater, something like that, you would be at 3,200 Kelvin. And basically it goes from 2,000 all the way to 50,000, which we'll find out a little bit more about in Lightroom in just a few minutes. And moving on to Lightroom, we have basically a workflow diagram. So this is the main screen and the library. In the upper right, you'll see library, develop, which is what we're going to be working with today, map, book, slideshow, print, and web. Now, basically from here, you can determine how you want to code your images and how you want to manage them. For example, as you'll see here, you see images that are in red. Those are notated by hitting the number 6. And you can also notate from stars 1 to 5, and that's also notated here. Then basically on the left-hand side, under collections, colored red is on the left, and so are our 5 stars. So if you clicked on those folders, that would only bring up those particular images, which you could then color correct and exposure correct. So if you go on to the next, this navigator sidebar is what was in the upper left-hand side of the previous page. And from here we have our catalog, our folders, and also the collection. So here's a close-up view of what I was talking about on the previous screen. So you can find out where these images are coming from and what to do with them. And again, up top here we have library, develop, and map. So this is the navigator aspect of that. On this page, as we continue the workflow, we move into the develop module. And so now this is where we can do all our color correcting. And the color correcting aspects are on the right-hand side. And here is where our color, exposure, contrast, everything goes into it. So now we get a bigger view of the images to work with. And so we have, on the navigator side, we have basic, tone curve, color black and white, split toning, detail, lens correction, effects, and camera calibration. And we'll get into all these as we move into the images and work with it with files. So as we go into each one, basic is the one you use the most. You have color temperature, and this is what we talked about. This particular image had a 3,600 Kelvin temperature, and you can move this slider back and forth, and this is where you get all the way from 2,000. You can even see a little color reference here to it too. From 2,000 all the way to that 50,000. You can also work with tint, which is greens and magentas. Then you jump into the exposure and contrast, highlights and shadows. And again, you can see from this particular image, adjustments have been made to help that image look a little bit better. And then you can get into clarity and vibrance and lots of other things. So that's the overview of the basic tab. Then you have the tone curve, which works with contrast and exposure. And you have a point curve down here as well, which will give it an automatic contrast, either a medium or strong. Then you have the detail aspect, which you do sharpening and noise reduction. The great part is we're going to be learning about all these here in just a few minutes working with images. Then for effects, we have the vignette and the grain and all the different aspects according to that, and there's lots of different ways you can do a vignette. Then under camera, you can adjust different standards, different processes, and you can work with tints and different colors here as well. And you can assign profiles to them. So on this next slide, we have the toolbar, which is on top, which are the different aspects that you can use to fine-tune an image. For example, this top left one goes to crop. The next one is spot removal. The next one is red eye. Then we have a graduated filter and a radial filter, and also an adjustment brush. The great part about each one of these is that they have their own collections and different things you can do to it. And soon we'll get into quite a few of these as we go. And it's amazing how just all the different aspects you can use with each brush, with each adjustment. It's just an amazing thing to be able to work with. So if we're ready, we will go on to all these photographs that you see. I need you to select them all. If you use the minus key, I think that's what it is, you will make them smaller or bigger with the plus. So I need minus. Basically what I need you to do is select all these images from this shoot. I really need your help with everybody on this because this will help organize everything for us as we go. Because basically there are JPEG files and there's one RAW file. We need to determine which the RAW file is, which the JPEG file is. So basically I need you to highlight all, there should be 25 in this set, as you can see what they are. So you'll highlight them all and then make it a 5-star. So just hit the 5 key once you get them all selected.
If you scroll over, it's one of these 3 images. Notice as I scroll over, it says NEF. And once you have that one, double click it, right?
Yeah.
Double click it.
So now it's going.
I don't know when it's going.
How do you know it's going?
Yeah, you can tell it's going because
it's going
that.
right
Yeah.
there.
Ah, very clever.
Can you help me with this?
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you.
Me
I should have paid
lighter
attention. I don't know how to do it.
Digital media taught me well.
Okay, good.
Daniel
He came in and started it.
Favorite Lightroom. Yes. Okay, everybody's quiet. You're looking at the screen. Mr. Bender.
All right.
Okay, Hunter's looking at the screen. Jessica's looking at the screen. Everybody's looking at the screen.
I'm going to need your help. Okay, here's the library view. Right over here, there's all photographs. We're going to try to do this even though this is last class. All photographs I need you to click on.
Okay,
Yeah, Mr. Harris,
it's a little tricky navigating to get to the right photograph. So
Yes.
slowly and pay attention. Here we go.
Okay, it's fine. I'll be able to. Oh, yours, hey, Mr. Harris. You're missing the JPEG. You just want to jump in there? One of them's in there, but not the JPEGs.
I'll just jump on the
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have to transition really quickly. That means you have to be really quiet. If you have a question, raise your hand. Otherwise, be really quiet. Josh.
I got a question.
Question.
No pictures. It should be
Is there a different program called Lightroom? Usually in this class we use Photoshop.
Okay, is everybody in the library tab? All these photographs that you see, I need you to select them all. If you use the minus key, I think that's what it is, you will make them smaller or bigger with the plus. So I need minus. Basically what I need you to do is select all these images from this shoot. So you would hit Apple A on all those, or Command A. And then I want you to hit 5. So that's going to set them to the rating 5.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say this one more time. I'm going to start moving you out of your chair, and you're not going to learn this. Because as soon as you start talking, people around you can't hear. If you have an issue, raise your hand.
I really need your help with everybody on this because this will help organize everything for us as we go. Because basically there are JPEG files and there's one RAW file. We need to determine which the RAW file is, which the JPEG file is. So basically, I need you to highlight all. There should be 25 in this set, as you can see what they are. So you'll highlight them all, and then make it a 5-star. So just hit the 5 key once you get them all selected. Oh, you do? So like these, just unselect them. So actually, just click on this one. It's a good experience.
You are going to drag this out of the way. Go ahead and do it so you can see your desktop. Don't repeat what I'm saying. Just be quiet. Don't talk. On the desktop, you should see, okay, you need to drag everything off the desktop. On the desktop, you should see an image that says DSC 4650 net. Raise your hand if you see that on the desktop. Josh. Josh. Folder says PHS samples, JPEG. Drag it into that folder. Josh. Josh. Raise your hand if you've dragged it into the folder on the desktop. Okay, now what I want you to do is look at the screen. I want you to go to the screen and you are going to go to, click on Library up here at the top. Click on Library, not Developer, we're on Library. Come on. Okay, we're on Library. And you are going to go down here, you're going to be in, we want to be in Collections. So you can scroll down here. On the left side it says Catalog, Folders, Collections. You're going to go to Collections. No, we want folders. If you can find, I hope you can find the desktop. Raise your hand if under Folders you cannot find the desktop. If you cannot find the desktop, you're going to see something that says Macintosh hard drive. Click on the Macintosh hard drive. Under Macintosh hard drive, you're going to see something that says, did you guys find the PHS samples? Raise your hand if you found the PHS samples under that. Click on the PHS samples. And as you scroll over the top, you see my cursor scrolling over the top. It's going to say right down here, it's going to tell you if it's .nef. We're looking for the .nef file. Huh. Okay, so click Import. Okay, we're going back one. Everybody click on Import. I know, I don't like this interface, but I'm going to get you through it faster than any other way to. So you're not talking. Click on Import. You see Source. Import's in the lower left-hand corner. You're going to click under Source, click Macintosh hard drive. Okay, and you're really quiet. Click Users. Click Student. Click Desktop. And click PHS JPEG samples. And I want you to look through here for a .nef file that looks like, how many of you guys see the .nef files? Okay. If it is not highlighted, raise your hand. Okay, so it's kind of gray and you can't click on it, correct? Do you find the .nef file? What that means is you have it. In which case,
you're good.
Okay, so we go back to Collections, correct? Click Cancel. You have it. Click Cancel, go to Collections. Click on Collections. Mr. Bender, help me here.
Yeah, it's right there.
Where? What does it say? Under Collections?
Yeah, what?
Okay, where is it? It's not here.
Go scroll up and say all images. In the left right here. Keep scrolling back up.
Okay.
All photographs.
Okay, everybody click under catalog, click all photographs. This is the part of this program I don't like, but there's a lot that's good and once you figure it out. Now if you scroll over, it's one of these three images. Notice as I scroll over, it says NEF. None of these are NEF.
Correct.
Oh,
You moved it on my computer. That's why.
Okay. And once you have that one, double click it, right?
Yeah.
Double click it. And let's see if everybody has that.
On the right-hand side is now our color temperature. This is what we've been talking about. There it is. So I want you to all... Oh, by the way, quick tip here.
Josh, come back here. Here.
Everybody put your arrow over the temperature scroll wheelie dealio thing. It's right there. Look at the screen. What? I ask you to pay attention, please. File, new catalog. Okay? Tyler, what you like? PHS LR. Okay? Yes, save to desktop. Hit create. Is everybody there? Okay. That will open up a new window for you all. Is everybody there? Click on library. Ready? We can do it, right? Click import. Go to that folder again, just like you did before. Okay, and then you're going to go through your desktop. The problem is it's different, right? So it's different per computer. So wherever, at least I've had experience already doing it. So go find that folder on the desktop, right? That's PHS JPEG samples, right? Yeah. Click on it. Once you're there, hit the import button. Okay, all right. Now, click on the Develop tab if that image is selected. Mine will be a little bit different. Yours, I picked a slightly different one, so if it's not exactly the same, that's why. But all purposes apply. Okay, we got it? Fantastic. Okay, so on the right-hand side, should have all this now, right? Our color temperature and all that? Yeah. Awesome. So now what I want you to do is just use those sliders. And by the way, when your pointer is over the slider, you can use the up button, the down or up button to change it.
Everybody try that.
Oh yeah. So that's what your Kelvin temperature is, all the way down from 2,000 to 50,000. Okay? Super cool, huh? So you can make it the look that you want to make. If you want to look like it's like cool day or whatever, that's how you would do that. And by the way, this is what you can do. You can do corrections on JPEG files, but these are what you can really do for RAW files. All right. Now go back and put that where that was, or just go back to, okay, right here. Look at the screen, everybody. Go back into As Shot. And also what you can do, and look at the screen, everyone. On the bottom right-hand side, there's a reset button.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this was going to listen and watch. Go ahead.
Bottom right-hand side, reset button. So if you ever get to the point you just want to go back to the original file, that's all you have to hit. Okay? So now, go ahead and don't do the exposure button just yet. Go and mess with the other ones. Contrast, highlight, shadows. Just bring those back and forth and just kind of move them around to get yourself familiar with those and what they do. So you can just do each one of them on your own. Yep. And then you just move it back and move it forward, and you'll kind of see in between what happens to the file with each individual slider.
Need help? Raise your hand.
Yep. Presence. Clarity, vibrance, and saturation. Take a look at those individually. Yeah.
Here, I'll come over.
Okay. Do we do presence? We did clarity and vibrance? Now go down
Everybody look at
to
the screen. I want you to look at this.
tone curve. You'll see where it says point curve right down here. If you look at the screen, I'm pointing at it. There's linear. If you click on that, you can do medium contrast, strong contrast. You can also move these sliders around, and you can also move the bar itself right there. See that? So same thing. If you're looking at the screen, I'm doing it right now. You can move this thing up and down, move it around. You can move these. You can move all these things to do whatever you so desire on the image. Okay? So that's tone curve. Detail. Scrolling down a little bit to detail. Noise reduction. Do the same thing. Move that slider all the way up. That one's kind of hard to tell, but I do use that one quite a bit. Whoops. Whoops. Look out. Look out. Okay, we good? Fantastic. All right, go down to effects. And we're going to do, this is my favorite part of it. This is the post-crop vinaigrette. So move that slider back down or up, and you'll see the different look that it gives you.
You look at the screen.
And mess with the midpoint too. You take that down and all the way back up. So you can just kind of change where the midpoint goes. The roundness is super cool. You go all the way to the left, which kind of gives like a border on it, all the way over to the right, which kind of, so it's kind of neat the way it does that. So even though right there, it makes it a different look. Looks like a water thing. Okay, and then feather also can change how much it comes in and goes out. So that looks kind of cool right there. So let's do this. Let's go through what we would make the photo. Let's go ahead and make our, so you're going to copy what I've put on there.
This is what I want you to do, because a lot is learning what individual photographers do. I want everybody to hit reset right now. Everybody hit reset. You approach it, so you're on.
A lot of times what I do is I'll let Lightroom try to pick the color for me. So right now it's as shot, and we have these other selections we can have. I'll let Lightroom try to pick it, so I'll hit auto. Okay? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. To me, it made it a little bit too warm, so I'll arrow down a little bit. Let's make that 7,000. 7,050.
Everybody do 7,050 on temperature.
By the way, if you click in the number, you can type in the number. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool.
Keep going.
All right. We're going to leave the tint as is. The exposure, we're going to, I just arrow down and then use the arrow down. I'm going to bring that down a little bit. 60, minus 60. Minus 0.60. It's funny, it looks totally different on the screen, but that's what we're going with. Contrast, plus 15. Someone's bouncing. The arrow down isn't working, is it? Just for somebody. Highlights, minus 20.
Everybody do minus 20.
Shadows, plus 15. Whites, plus 15. Blacks, minus 20. Clarity, we're going to make plus 25.
Clarity 20, vibrance plus 5.
Yep. We're going to leave all the rest of that the same, and then we're going to go down to noise reduction, which is in our detail pane. Noise reduction, make that 30.
Midpoint 35.
Hang on, let me get this one. Roundness, minus 46. And feather, 78. Nice job. We good?
Now, one cool thing, check this out.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see what it looked like before, you can click on this button right there. Okay, so everybody click on the two Y's. What it's going to show you is going to be before and after view.
You everybody see that? If you look at the screen, I'm pointing at it right now, right down here.
Two Y's? Yeah. Click Click on the two eyes so you can see how it started and how it looks now.
Okay.
And then click off of it when you're done.
You just click the other one when you're done, yeah.
Okay? Right.
One thing to keep in mind why I do it this way and why I teach it says this way when I deliver to my clients, I want to make sure the images look great to begin with. That the color is good, the exposure is good, the contrast is good, and all consistent. So, with that said, we can take this, and in the bottom left is copy.
Right click copy. You're copying all these presets.
So it's right down here. If you look at the screen, I'm pointing at it. Copy in the bottom left. Everybody have the copy screen up? Yeah. You can determine if you want to select all those or none or certain ones of them. So we can check none, we can check all. We can select just the, if you wanted just the vignette, we could just do that one. So lots of great tools to do that, and then you can select that. So we're going to check all and hit copy. You all are in a better place than I am. So now what you're doing, you're going to select another photo. So let's go with,
Let's select like 5.
I'm going to do one first, and it's easier to transfer them to the others. So I need to get back in the Develop tab. See the Paste button down on the left? Hit Paste. So if that is something you liked, so now at the bottom, once you've selected the new one, go ahead and select 4 or 5 others next to it. Just remember, hit the Shift key, select over to the right.
Down at the bottom is film strip. Check it out.
Down at the bottom, film strip. Yep, there you go. Yep. The key to this one is to make sure that your first one is selected, then you go to the next 5. So then there's a sync button. If you look at the screen, I'll point at it right down here at the bottom right. You can click that sync button, which brings up your copy screen again, right? It's just showing you what you did before.
So apply it to like 5 images.
Yep.
Yes.
And then hit sync, and then go ahead and hit synchronize. And I'll do it right here on the screen for you. Sync,
Okay, watch the screen, please. Everybody watch the screen.
sync, synchronize. And it should have gone to all of them, right?
Yep.
Again, it may not be right, perfect, but that's what we're doing for now. Did it work?
Yeah.
Didn't go?
Everybody's looking at the screen.
Okay, let's go. On your JPEGs, there's the picture of the bride and groom. Let's do the vertical. Actually, you know what? Let's do him dipping her in the sunset. You guys cool with that one?
Wait, what you're going to see right now is one of my favorite parts of it. There are all these presets.
Yep.
Check them out. So you're looking at the screen.
Okay. Everybody on this photo?
Taryn, you're looking at the screen.
It looks like everybody's on this picture. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. On the left-hand side, if you scroll all the way up, if you look on the screen, I lost the pointer. It's around there somewhere. Oh, thanks.
You're still in develop.
Yep. Under presets over here, do you see that?
Check this out. It's very cool.
Okay. When you scroll over, not clicking or anything, it's where it says blue filter and high contrast, green. If you scroll over, it'll show you, if you clicked on that, what the image would look like. So Lightroom has given you all these great presets.
Check the black and white ones.
Yeah. So there's lots of different looks that you can see, and you can open up more. There's antique, and I don't know what. Was that cyanotype? I don't know how to pronounce it. Cyanotype?
Blue, yeah. It's an old type of
So you can click on one of those, and it'll change the picture.
how cool is that?
So, and then if you hit Command Z, that would undo it, rather than going to a full reset if you didn't like that particular one. And by the way, if you're smart and entrepreneurial, you can make your own presets and sell them to photographers. And if you come up with your own unique look, and you can do all that sort of stuff. So you can make these on your own. So once you did all your corrections, you can save it your own as a preset. And I think that's for another day. So, okay. Does everybody have a preset in there? We're going to go to the tools here really quick. So if you look up at the screen, remember we talked about these, the crop tool and all that sort of stuff?
Riley's looking at the screen.
Everybody screen, at the screen, crop tool. Everybody click on the crop tool.
Apply one of those presets first.
I did. Oh, yeah.
Jump in.
Oh, yes, like the apple on your room. Right. So right here you have a lock. Everybody looking at the screen? There's a lock. that keeps the ratio together to make sure it's in its current form. Okay? You can also then click on the original. I'll go do it on the screen. You can click on original and make it, so like I love the 16:9 crop, and it'll automatically do it for you. And then you can take one of those corners and bring it in. It'll keep that dimension. Okay? So you can feel free to mess with that. Everybody kind of get a crop in there? Very good. Wonderful job over there, Brianni. So everybody look at the screen for me. There's a little arrow that is like a kind of like a half circle. Right here. Everybody got it? Put it right there. Put the pointer right there. Everybody see it? So if you click and drag that and move that, if your horizon was not straight, which mine oftentimes are not, you can rotate that side to side and make it straight if you needed to. Or make it crooked if you wanted to. Okay? Is that cool? And then if you hit return, that will finalize that.
Presets are cool, yes?
Presets are cool. Okay. Fourth one over. Graduated filter. Everybody click on that one. Okay. Everybody on there? Everybody click it? Yes, no, maybe so? Yeah. All right. Click and hold up top. If you look at the screen, I'm going to do it for you really quick. Ready? So if I click and hold, I'm going to bring in this filter and bring it down to there. And then what I can do is I can change the exposure for any particular part of that screen where I put it. So if that was too bright up there and I wanted to darken it, I could do that. I can also do it from the bottom. Or I can lighten it. I can do all these different things to it just in this particular area. Trying to find something that really brings it out. So there you go. So that's what the graduated filter can do for you. Cool? We good? Yeah. I think we have like one more second. We're going to do spot removal tool. Click on that one. We're just going to select somewhere in the photo that we're going to clone out. Let's say we wanted to take the flowers out. This probably won't look great, but we don't have much time. So we'll click on it. We'll make do you guys know how to make the size a bit bigger? Yep, the brackets, good job. So then you'll click on it, the flowers, and then if you want it to make it look like the beach or part of her dress, you're just going to move it. You just look at the screen to wherever you want it to go, and we'll make the dress part of it, and we'll let go right there, and then hit enter. Again, doesn't look great, but that's the example. Maybe we just get rid of part of that. We'll make part of the beach. Just to give you an example. This often works for like blemishes or things like that, and different things goes around. Thank you, guys.
Woo, woo, woo.